In a quiet, upscale neighborhood in Atlanta, David Jackson, a retired police officer, had just achieved his dream: a house with a pool. As a black man, it was a milestone he took pride in after 20 years of service. On his first day, while relaxing by the pool, his neighbor Karen Miller peeked over the fence. David gave a polite wave, but she quickly disappeared. The next day, David checked his security camera and was shocked. Karen had climbed into his pool in a designer swimsuit, towel in hand, like she owned the place. When he confronted her, she shrugged. "Oh, I thought you were the pool guy," she said smugly. "This is my house. Please, don't trespass," David replied, keeping his cool. Karen laughed. "The realtor didn't say anything about someone like you living here." David felt the sting in her words, but his years as a cop taught him patience. Still, she didn't stop. For weeks, Karen hosted pool parties with her friends, leaving behind trash, noise, and attitude. "This is your final warning. Next time I'm calling the police," David said. Karen scoffed. "My husband knows the sheriff." David adjusted his security cameras and whispered to himself, maybe it's time she learned a different lesson. What Karen didn't know, David's patience was running out. Karen was getting bolder. One Saturday, David woke up to find 8 women in his pool, laughing, drinking wine. "Don't worry, the pool was just sitting there," Karen said, waving casually. "This is private property," David yelled. "Then call the cops," she said mockingly. David did just that, calling in some of his old buddies from the force. The officers arrived. "Dave, what is going on here?" Karen turned on the tears. "He's harassing me." But one of the officers shook his head. "Ma'am, David was one of the best. You need to leave." Karen stormed out, hissing, "This isn't over." Back inside, David reviewed the footage. Karen had pushed open the gate and dumped trash in his yard. Rumors started spreading. Something shady's going on at David's place. His newspapers disappeared. The HOA received anonymous complaints. Then, David remembered seeing lawn chemicals in Karen's garage. "She's playing dirty," he muttered. But so could he. From his police days, he recalled a harmless trick: temporary pool dye that reacted with cosmetics. It wouldn't hurt anyone, but it'd stain skin a neon green for days. He ordered it online. "Karen won't forget this," he said, smiling to himself. The plan was set. David tested the dye. When mixed with Karen's pricey sunscreen, it turned bright green. Totally safe. But it stuck around for a full week. Then came the perfect opportunity. Karen was hosting a real estate social that Saturday with his pool. David installed more cameras. Every angle would be recorded. He poured in the dye. The water looked normal until it didn't. Saturday arrived. Karen strolled in, uninvited as ever, with 5 friends and a bottle of champagne. "Let's not bother the new guy," she giggled. They slathered on sunscreen and jumped in. It started slowly. "Karen, your arm, it's green," someone whispered. Karen looked down. "What the?" The green spread. Their faces, hands and legs looked like cartoon clowns. One woman screamed, "I have a wedding tomorrow." Karen spotted the camera. "You did this," she shouted. Inside, David watched the chaos unfold, smiling. The Green Gang ran out of the yard, through the neighborhood, to the sound of neighbors laughing. David edited the video together, Karen's earlier trespassing, then the dye disaster, and posted it online. The video went viral overnight. Karen goes green in the pool. Millions watched. News outlets picked it up. Karen's real estate agency released a statement. This behavior does not reflect our values. The neighborhood WhatsApp chat blew up. She poisoned my flowers too. Serves her right. Support poured in for David. Karen, still with a faint green tint, posted a video trying to save face. I was just trying to maintain neighborhood standards. People laughed. Then David got a letter from her lawyer demanding the video be taken down. David replied with footage of her trespassing, dumping trash, and hosting unauthorized pool parties. Suddenly, Karen went silent. Neighbors started bringing David home-cooked meals. "We should have stood up earlier. We're sorry," they said. Even Karen's husband was overheard at the golf club. "Can't do business with a wife who's still kinda green." David stayed calm. "Anyone can use my pool," he said with a smile. "As long as they ask." 2 weeks later, a for sale sign appeared on Karen's front lawn. David hosted a pool party and invited the whole neighborhood. Kids splashed, adults laughed, and the community came together. Karen's vendetta had unintentionally created unity. David leaned back in his chair, watching the joy around him. "Now, that's justice," he said. Karen moved out. The neighborhood finally breathed a sigh of relief. David's pool parties became a tradition. BBQs, laughter, music. A new family moved in next door, a warm, lively Latin American household. David welcomed them with open arms. "The pool's yours too," he said with a smile. The kids learned to swim. David even gave them lessons. One afternoon, David got a call from an old cop buddy. "Guess what? Karen's already causing drama in her new neighborhood." David chuckled. "Figures. Not my problem anymore." By the pool, neighbor Tom leaned back with a soda. "I've lived here 20 years. This is the first time I actually know my neighbors," he said. David grinned. "Funny how Karen accidentally brought us all together." HOA meetings quieted down. Complaints disappeared. David still had his cameras, but now they captured birthday parties and poolside laughs. The local paper ran a story. "The legend of Green Karen lives on." David was quoted saying, "Turns out, my pool taught a lesson." And on YouTube, we ask, what would you have done? A pool, a plan, a payoff. Was it revenge or justice? Drop your thoughts in the comments. David erased the shadows of the past. And his pool? It wasn't just water anymore. It had become a symbol of standing your ground, with class. David's pool had become the heart of the neighborhood. On warm summer evenings, kids splashed around while parents chatted and laughed. "Being a cop taught me patience," David told a neighbor one evening, watching the sunset reflect off the water. Karen's old house was now home to a kind, happy family. One day, David found a note in his mailbox. "Thank you for saving us from Karen." He smiled. The town never forgot the story of Green Karen. David chuckled. Sometimes the smartest response is strategy. By the pool, a framed photo sat on the wall. A group of green-streaked women running in panic. David looked at it and whispered, "Karma never forgets." And on YouTube, we ask, have you ever had to deal with a Karen? Would you have handled it like David? A victory earned through patience. Was he right? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes the sweetest revenge is the one that brings people together. As David floated in his pool, peace all around, he smiled to himself. This is my home. Karen's entitlement had tried to take over, but in the end, it sparked something better. A true community. And justice? Well, it showed up with a bright green streak.
If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more inspiring stories.